All right, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a video for y'all for the morning trade that I just took. I took it around I think 10 o'clock this morning. I woke up a little late. I usually be on the charts by like 9:30 because that's when New York Times session opens. But yeah, let's get into it, man. I use supply and demand as one of my strategies. Well, that's the only strategy I use actually. And I'm gonna tell you why, right? Because to be a successful trader for me, in my personal opinion, I feel like having one strategy and focusing on it is what you need to learn, right? You don't want to be a master of none, like a jack of all trades and master of none. You want to be a master at one skill and perfect it, right? So anyway, with that being said, going into this trade, like I said, I took it around 10 a.m. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk through what I was looking at and what I was observing while I was in this trade. So what I usually like to do is go on my daily or my 4 hour, right? Well, I check both, right? I check my daily and I check my 4 hour, right? And I like to get a depiction of what direction the market is going and what's happening in that current and in current time frame then and there. And so what I'm looking at on a daily, right? If everybody can see, right? Let me go here with it, right? So as you can see from this point here, it goes up, comes back down, goes up, comes back down, goes up, right? And then right here, finally drops down, comes back up. So at this point, right, even if you want to put on some EMAs, right? EMA is it kind of looks like this. It's a line that shows you the direction of the market. But regardless, right, if you know how to read market structure, we can see that it's on an uptrend, right? And so around this time, right, around this time, I see like right here, right, in this line right here, that daily candlestick had liquidity, and it snatched. And I see that it's about to break that candlestick, right? It's about to break that candlestick. But overall, right, the overall trend that I'm looking at is an uptrend. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me check the 4 hour to see if it's literally going in that direction, right? So I see here, right? Here's one break of structure, right? There goes one break of structure. There goes two. There goes three. Right? And what I mean breaking structure, right, is creating higher highs, right? It's creating higher highs and higher lows. But you see these lines that I put, these lines are getting broken from the market, right? So now it's creating lower highs and lower lows. So I'm seeing that, right? I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing that, okay, since it's not going in the same direction that it was currently going, then at this point, I need to see in for sales, right? I'm not looking for buys anymore at this point. It's about to have a big pullback anyway. It's pulling back. It's creating a downtrend. It's breaking higher highs and higher lows, and it's creating higher lows and lower lows. So I'm looking for sales at this point, right? This is my bias now. And now, once you create your bias on the direction that you want to choose, like a buy or a sell, this is at this point where you start to get tunnel vision. You want to create this tunnel vision, right? This tunnel vision helps you only focus on the one simple thing that you need to do for that day. So now that I know that it's going on a downtrend, I go down to my 5 or my 2 minute, right? So in this point here, right, I'm going to show you where was I? So reversing back to 10 o'clock, right? Let's say I was going back to 10 o'clock. All right, so I'm going to show you the trade that I took. So I'm looking for sales, right? So if I'm looking for sales, I only need to find a sale setup for supply and demand, right? So I let the time go, right? I let the time go. And like I said, I came in at 10, right? And I'm seeing the market going. And mind you, I'm looking. So I'm waiting for a break of structure, right? Going to that downside. So I'm waiting. It hasn't done it yet. Has it done it yet? Boom. It does it right there. Okay, cool. Right. So I see that it does it right there. Right. So now what I'm going to do is drop my zone. Right. This is my zone that I'm drawing up right here at this point. Right. And so I saw that it broke structure. And so what I'm looking for at this very moment is a pinpoint entry. And so if you look here, right, it breaks structure and it comes back with a bearish candlestick, right? A bearish rejection, right? And so at this point, what I'm looking for is my entry. And so I see that it taps in. Usually, sometimes I go for an aggressive setup or a aggressive entry, or sometimes I do a conservative entry. At this point, I did a very aggressive entry because I knew, right? I felt very confident. I entered in, I think, about right here. I was very confident in the trade that I took and going in for my sales. And I went for a 1 to 5, right? I always do a 1 to 5. Sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling, right, I might do a 2 to 1, but I usually go for a 1 to 5, right? And so at this point, it wicked into that zone, right? It wicked into the zone, had a rejection candlestick going to the downside. And remind you, right? My bias was looking for sales. It's going on a downtrend, right? So that means you want to go along with the trend. You don't want to fight the trend. Fighting the trend is way more painful than going along with the trend. So just go with the flow. Go with the flow of things. So with that being said, after I got in my entry right there, I just let it play out. Just let it play out. And as you can tell, I got my dub today. And that's how I got my trade. That's why I do supply and demand. Very simple, very easy, nothing too complicated. As a trader, you want to make things very simple for yourself. You want to make things easy for you, right? And so that's what I looked at right there. This is what I just saw going into my trade today. And yeah, man, got a dub, man. Got a dub. So I hope y'all enjoy this little video. And y'all stay safe out there, man. Love y'all.